Hello guys, welcome to Austin for the American Grand Prix in my Backmarker career. We are starting second on the grid today here behind Lewis Hamilton. We have Felipe Massa immediately behind us, and we get an absolutely fantastic start here, out racing Lewis Hamilton for turn 1, going down the inside of him and taking the lead in the American Grand Prix. I should apologize for the poor sound quality here in the opening lap. My recorder is still acting up, and it is only a question of time before this one is taken back to the shop for an exchange, because this is turning out to be a really faulty piece of equipment. Anyway, both Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas have managed to overtake Lewis Hamilton there in turn 1, and the two Williams cars are now running 2 and 3 respectively. And also, it appears that this is a good thing for us, because the Williams cars, for some odd reason, have a tendency to drive a very slow, well, relatively speaking anyway, a very slow first stint. So if we were able to open up a bit of a gap here to the two Williams cars and they sort of block the two Mercs for a while, that would definitely be a positive. And as you can see, it already appears that we are pulling out ahead of Massa and Bottas immediately behind him. It looks like there's a bit of a pile up there in the hairpin turn right behind us. I'm not sure whether or not anyone got tangled up there, but I do know that we are now down to 21 cars running out of 22. So somebody already seemed to have been on the bad end of a crash there and has had to retire from the race. As I was talking about before, the Williams cars again here seem to be having a slow first stint. I'm not sure whether or not they're running in fuel conservation mode at this time, or whether or not they might have started the race on primes, but the fact is we are pulling out a pretty decent gap already and are about 4 seconds ahead of Massa, who has Bottas immediately behind him, followed by Hamilton in 4th position. Skipping on ahead to lap 4 here, the gap has continued to widen as we are almost 8 seconds up on Bottas at the moment, who has overtaken Massa. Also, Rosberg, who is running down somewhere below 4th position at the moment, is definitely getting his pace up and is currently doing the fastest laps of the race. Also, in this opening stint so far, we have been running in fuel conservation mode to see if we can't build up a bit of a reserve should we be needing it later in the race, which I have a feeling we might do. And as you can see here on lap 6, the gap down to Bottas is pretty much constant. So even though we're running with the fuel in mix 1, we are still maintaining a healthy gap down to a car that is supposedly much faster than us. Jumping ahead to lap 8 here, you can see that Rosberg has now overtaken Massa in 3rd and is most likely starting to put Bottas under pressure as well. That is bad news for us, as the Williams cars were really creating sort of a block there, keeping the Mercs behind them, meaning that we were able to pull ahead here. I would expect that if Rosberg is able to overtake Bottas within the next couple of laps, that he would be able to close the gap on us fairly quickly, even though he is currently about 9 seconds down. Jumping ahead to lap 10 here, as you can see, we are now down to 18 cars running out of 22. As we come up on the first backmarker here, Adrian Sutil appears to have had some sort of crash or damage. I don't know if he's been in the pits. We did get a report early in the race that our teammate Jean-Eric Vergne was in the pits, so he was apparently involved in some sort of altercation, and it would appear that maybe Sutil was as well. And skipping on ahead here to lap 12, the hunt for backmarkers seems to continue, as we are now coming up on Mr. Max Chilton, who has a very nasty habit of parking that Marussia of his right on the apex whenever we try and pass him. This time, however, he does give us a room, we managed to go by him without any trouble at all. As you can see, Bottas also is starting to close the gap on us ever so slightly there, with Rosberg still chasing him. Jumping ahead to lap 15 here, Bottas is still closing the gap on us every lap ever so slightly. He's about 4.5 seconds down on us at the moment, and Rosberg is still hot on the heels of Bottas there. And like I said earlier, it is going to be very interesting to see how long Bottas is going to be able to hold Rosberg back, because at the moment he is holding him back. Skipping on ahead to lap 19, we come in for our first pit stop of the race here. We've had no reports of any rain coming later in the race, although there was a 10% chance of at least a shower sometime during the race, but so far there's been nothing on the radar, so we are continuing with our strategy the way we planned it out before the race. Anyway, we rejoin in third position behind Rosberg and about 20 seconds ahead of Massa. And as you can see, the sky has definitely become more overcast than what was the case when we started the race there, which was in beautiful sunny conditions, but so far no indication of any rain. Status report lap 20, we are currently about 14 seconds down on Rosberg, who is in second position. Massa is in fourth, immediately behind us, about 3.5 seconds, and we are currently sitting rather pretty here in the middle of things. Skipping to lap 22, Rosberg has now overtaken Bottas, who is down to second position, and also Lewis Hamilton has passed Massa, who was in fourth, and are now chasing us down here for third position. And this is not good news for us, as the Mercs appear to have the upper hand on this track. Both Rosberg and Hamilton have consistently been putting in fastest lap times all throughout the race. Also, by the looks of it, we are at lap 23 right now, and our engineer is telling us that they expect Rosberg to be coming into pit within the next 2 or 3 laps. That would indicate that at least Rosberg is on a one-stop strategy. And that is scary indeed, because if he is going this fast on a one-stop strategy, just thinking about what he might do on fresh tires is really giving me the creeps. And speak of the devil there, Rosberg just puts in the fastest lap of the race. Oh my. So lap 25 status report, we are about 15 seconds behind Bottas, who is in second position. We have Hamilton about 4.5 seconds down on us. I would expect Bottas to come in for a pit stop fairly soon, as it would appear that he too is on a one-stop race. Massa, on the other hand, has already been into pit once, so at least he would be on a two-stop race, I would assume. And on lap 27 here, we come up to lap our teammate Jean-Eric Vergne, who was into pit after the first lap, probably to have a wing changed or something like that, maybe a puncture, I'm not sure. So he is running way down in the standings right now. Only that's a positive, seeing as Hamilton is all but caught up to us right now and is really putting us under pressure. But Vergne just manages to hold him back for a precious few seconds there, giving us the chance to pull ahead enough so that he doesn't get DRS on the finishing straight. Now that is a guy you would want on your team any day, isn't it? Lap 29, both Rosberg and Bottas have been into pit. We are about 10 seconds down on Rosberg in second position, and Bottas is down in fourth, about 4.5 seconds behind Hamilton, who is about half a second behind us, really putting us under pressure. Skipping ahead here to lap 34, Hamilton has now been into pit and is about 12 seconds down on us at the moment. However, he is coming out on the option tire and is really starting to lap with a sincere vengeance. So currently here on lap 34, we find ourselves sort of in a Mercedes sandwich here. We have Rosberg out ahead of us. I don't think we're going to have any chance of catching him unless he has an accident. And Hamilton behind us here on lap 35 has already taken about 3 seconds out of the gap to us. And that is a hefty chunk considering it's only been 2 laps. And just like what happened at Sochi there, the Russian Grand Prix, Hamilton at the moment just seems to have a gear that the rest of us do not have. And at this point in the race, he is really putting in a sequence of scary laps. And just within a span of like 3 or 4 laps here, he manages to close the gap on us completely and is putting us under huge pressure here on lap 38. Lap 43, we come in for our second and last stop of the race for a set of options that we are going to be finishing out on. Also, we managed to get a few extra laps out of the primes we were on just to make sure that the options are going to be holding up to the end of the race. Also, as you can see, the skies have cleared once again, and it appears that the 10% chance of rain that we had there are not going to be happening today. So status report, lap 45, Rosberg is leading the race, Hamilton is out ahead in second, we are in third, we have Massa behind us in fourth, but he's several seconds down on us. I don't think he's going to be a threat. The question is, where did Bottas go all of a sudden? He seems to have disappeared off the grid here, and again, as you can see, Hamilton is displaying a pace that nobody in the field is able to match at this point. Also, my engineer at this time is telling me that there might be a chance of light rain in about 10 minutes time. And as you can see here on lap 53, the sky is getting a little bit overcast compared to what we saw about 6 or 7 laps ago. And also, it appears that Vettel is now up to 4th position, having overtaken Massa, but he is about 20 seconds down on us and is not going to pose a threat unless we make some sort of grave mistake damaging the car or worse. Skipping ahead here to lap 56, the final lap of the race, as you can see, the rain is starting to come down ever so slightly. It is not going to matter at this point as Nico Rosberg takes the win. Hamilton will come in second. We will come in third, barring any major accident here on the last stretch, and Vettel will come home in 4th position. So to summarize, we end up finishing 3rd in this race, another podium finish behind the 2 Mercs. I'm not sure if we could have done anything differently than what we did in this race. I felt we did what we could, but the Mercedes cars just too fast on this track. Hamilton in particular, I'm glad he got held up for as long as he did, because otherwise he would have been long gone. Just see, he is under 7 seconds behind Rosberg there, and that is some impressive driving. However, it does mean that Rosberg is extending his lead in the championship race and is now 48 points ahead of Hamilton in the final standings, meaning that Hamilton basically has to win the last 2 races. I know the Abu Dhabi race is a double point race, but he definitely needs to maintain his current form, and it also wouldn't hurt if Rosberg had a bit of misfortune there. At any rate, guys, if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe even, and I'll be back soon enough. Bye-bye.